Good morning students. Today's class is on estimation of AST. In the previous sessions, you would have learnt about the estimation of glucose, urea, creatinine. In all these analytes, what we measured was the molecular concentration of those analytes. But whereas in enzyme estimation, we do not measure the concentration of enzymes, but we measure the enzyme's biological activity or the enzyme's catalytic activity. Why is it so? Why don't we measure the molecular concentration of enzymes? It is because the quantity of enzyme present in the biological fluids is very minimal. Therefore, it is practically difficult to measure the concentration of enzymes. Therefore, we measure the biological activity or the catalytic activity of the enzymes. So what do we measure? We measure the enzyme's biological activity or catalytic activity. We don't measure the enzyme's concentration. Now how do we measure the enzymes? Enzymes are biocatalysts that helps in the conversion of a substrate to a product. So what we do is mix the enzymes with the substrate, and then what happens? Product is formed. The absorbance of the final product is measured, which is directly proportional to the enzyme's activity. There are two methods by which you can measure enzyme's activity. One is the endpoint method, the other is the rate of reaction method. In endpoint method, we combine the enzymes with the substrate. We wait for an incubation time so that the final product is formed. The final absorbance of the product is measured. So this is directly proportional to enzyme's activity, and this is endpoint method. What is rate of reaction method? In rate of reaction method, we combine the enzymes with the substrate, but we don't give the incubation time. We immediately measure the change in absorbance of the product. That is, the rate of the reaction is measured. We measure the change in absorbance of the product, which is directly proportional to the enzyme's activity. So this is what is known as rate of reaction method. Which is best, whether the endpoint method or the rate of reaction method? Endpoint method is a cheap method where the reagents can be easily prepared in the laboratory, and we can make use of some ordinary calorimeters or photometers for the estimation. But the results of endpoint method were not promising. The accuracy is not good, the precision is not good, the reaction didn't follow Beer's law, and it required the lengthy incubation time. But whereas in rate of reaction method, though it is expensive because the reagents cannot be prepared in our laboratories, it is manufactured by stringent conditions by the manufacturers, and they will provide the diagnostic kits which contains the reagents. And we cannot use the ordinary calorimeters or photometers for measuring the rate of reaction method. We require specific instruments like spectrophotometer or semi-auto analyzer or auto analyzer for measuring the change in absorbance, for measuring the rate of reaction. Though it is expensive, the results of this method is promising. The accuracy is good, precision is good, and the method also follows Beer's law, and we do not wait for that incubation time. Therefore, since it's very short procedures, it requires only 2 to 3 minutes. So in our laboratories, what we follow is rate of reaction method. So how do we measure enzymes? By using rate of reaction methods. Now with this knowledge about the estimation of enzymes, we'll go into the actual topic, which is estimation of AST. AST is an enzyme. It is aspartate transaminase, or the other name for AST is SGOT, serum glutamate oxaloacetate transferase. AST is an enzyme which catalyzes the transfer of amino group from an amino acid to an alpha keto acid, so that another amino acid is converted into an alpha keto acid, and the alpha keto acid is converted into another amino acid. So this enzyme is basically present in higher quantities in heart, liver, skeletal muscles, and it is found in lesser quantities in kidneys, pancreas and RBCs. The coenzyme for this enzyme is pyridoxal phosphate. Therefore, in pyridoxine deficiency, we may notice a decrease in AST levels. This AST is present both in the mitochondria and the cytosol. Therefore, two types of AST is there. One is mitochondrial AST and another is cytosolic AST. Half-life of AST is about 17 hours. Now, how do we estimate AST? It is by using the Karman method, and the principle behind this method is that, as I said earlier, AST involves in the transfer of amino groups from one amino acid to an alpha keto acid. So AST transfers the amino group from aspartate to alpha ketoglutarate. Therefore, the amino acid aspartate is converted into an alpha keto acid oxaloacetate, and the alpha keto acid alpha ketoglutarate is converted into an amino acid glutamate. So AST catalyzes this reaction, and it requires pyridoxal phosphate as a coenzyme for carrying out this reaction. Now what we do is we combine this reaction with another reaction so that we can estimate AST, and that is the formed oxaloacetate is acted upon by malate dehydrogenase, so that oxaloacetate is reduced to malate and NADH2 is oxidized to NAD. Now what we measure is the change in absorbance of NADH2, which is directly proportional to the enzyme activity, which is directly proportional to the activity of AST. So the working reagent will contain alpha ketoglutarate, aspartate, pyridoxal phosphate, NADH2, malate dehydrogenase, and the buffer to provide the specific pH in medium, and the stabilizers. So this reagent mixture will be prepared by the manufacturers, and they will provide, using that reagent we may estimate AST. So what is the procedure? What we have to do is we have to take 1 ml of that working reagent and mix it with 0.01 ml of patient sample. Mix it well and don't wait for the incubation time. Feed this mixture immediately to the semi-auto analyzer or an auto analyzer or a spectrophotometer. So what do is they measure the change in absorbance of NADH2 for every minute, for the first minute, for the second minute and at the third minute. Now what we have is the change in absorbance, from which we calculate the enzyme activity. IUPAC, that is International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, recommends the use of international units per liter for expressing enzyme activity. So international units is the number of micromoles of products formed per minute by the enzyme present in 1 liter of the serum under specific pH and temperature. I'll repeat it again. International unit is defined as the number of micromole of product formed per minute by the enzyme present in 1 liter of the serum under specific pH and temperature. This international unit of the enzyme activity is calculated by using the following formula, which is delta absorbance per minute, that is change in absorbance per minute, divided by molar absorptivity constant or molar attenuation coefficient. What is molar attenuation coefficient? It is the measurement of how strongly a molecule will attenuate light or absorb light. So it is actually a measurement of how strongly a molecule will attenuate light or absorb light. It is an intrinsic property of that molecule, and it is constant for that molecule at specific conditions. For example, what we measure is the change in absorbance of NADH2. So this NADH2 has a specific molar attenuation constant, which is 6.22. Okay. Then, so the formula is delta absorbance per minute by molar absorptivity constant into total volume. What is total volume? The sample volume plus the reagent volume divided by the sample volume into 1000. So the manufacturer will know the molar absorptivity constant of their product Here it is the molar absorptivity constant of NaDH2 whose absorbance is going to get measured, and then the manufacturer will know the volume of sample, the volume of reagent. So they will substitute those values here in the formula, and finally they will derive a factor. So manufacturers, while they provide the diagnostic kits, they also tell us the factor for that particular estimation. They also provide the factor for the particular estimation. What we do is we program this factor in the semi-auto analyzer. So the semi-auto analyzer will measure the change in absorbance and it will multiply this factor what we have programmed in it before starting the estimation. So it will multiply this factor with this change in absorbance, and so that finally what we get is the enzyme activity in terms of international units per liter. Okay, so finally what is the formula used for calculation here? It is the delta absorbance per minute into factor. Now how do we derive this factor? We derive this factor from the molar attenuation constant, total volume, sample volume into and sample volume. So this is done by the manufacturers. They will substitute all those values and they will only give you the factor. What we have to do is, what the semi-auto analyzer does is, it will multiply the change in absorbance with this factor and it will finally give you the concentration of the enzyme activity. Okay. Now the result, the amount of AST present in the given sample is this much international units or units per liter, both the same. What is the reference range? The reference range of AST is 5 to 35 units per liter. AST activity is very high in newborns. It will take about 6 months for the newborns to get their adult range of AST. Now, AST is elevated in certain clinical conditions. First, myocardial infarction. We have many markers for identifying myocardial infarction, enzyme markers and then troponins. So AST is one such enzyme marker which gives a clue about myocardial infarction. It takes about 6 to 8 hours for its levels to get elevated, and the peak is achieved at 1 day. It comes back to its normal level within 5 days. Now, increased levels of AST is also seen in other conditions. I said AST is present in heart, so it is elevated in myocardial infarction. It is also present in liver. So any injury to the liver, it can be viral hepatitis or drug-induced hepatitis or cirrhosis of liver. In all these conditions, or obstructive liver disease, in all these conditions, the hepatic tissues get damaged and AST is released from them. Therefore, the serum level of AST is elevated. Similarly, in muscular dystrophy, AST is present in skeletal muscles. So in any muscular dystrophy, AST level is elevated. AST is also present in pancreas. Therefore, in pancreatitis, AST level is elevated. AST is present in RBCs. Then in hemolysis also, AST is elevated. When do you find decreased levels of AST? Decreased level of AST is found in vitamin B6 or pyridoxine deficiency. Pyridoxine, as I said, it is the pyridoxal phosphate is the cofactor which is required for the activity of AST. So when PLP is deficient, you get a decreased value of AST. And intake of certain drugs also causes decreased AST levels. What are the other methods for measuring AST? Dinitrophenylhydrazine coupling method and diazonium dicoupling method. Dinitrile phenylhydrazine coupling method and diazonium dicoupling method. These are the other methods for measuring AST. So the take-home message is that we measure enzyme activity and not the concentration. It is measured by the rate of reaction method. We require diagnostic kits and specific instruments like spectrophotometer or semi-auto analyzer or auto analyzer for measuring enzyme activity. So enzyme activity is measured by measuring the change in absorbance of the product, here that is NaDH2, and this is multiplied with the factor. The factor is provided by the manufacturers. It is expressed in terms of the enzyme activity is expressed in terms of international units per liter. The AST levels is elevated in several clinical conditions. AST is elevated when the tissues containing AST gets damaged. That is heart, liver, skeletal muscles, pancreas and RBCs. Decreased AST levels is seen in pyridoxine deficiency. So we have other methods for estimating AST, that is TNPH coupling method and diazonium dye coupling method. Thank you.